We'll get to everyone before it's over.
In Dallas County, we have the privilege of being an island of blue and a blood red sea. But part of the consequences of that is because we hold all the judicial benches now and all the countywide positions. A lot of Republicans cross over and vote in our primary. And as much as I support these issues, my fear is that the worst possible scenario is that they lose. And that sets us back. Thank you.
Someone who wants to speak for Mary?
Yes, I would speak for the resolution that you do away with the death penalty as one has been introducing that saying that we'll issue about 35 increasing in county and state conventions. And even when we had the majority, we never stood behind our convictions in that way. And I think that it's time. What, as he said, what have we got to lose? I think we got a lot to gain in standing up for our war.
Those another who wants to speak against? Mary?
Hey, Senate District 10 got some good news this week. Wendy Davis's seat looks a lot better than it did a few weeks ago. We worked really hard 4 years ago to get her elected. We were dreading what we were going to have to go through next year, but it's still not going to be a cakewalk. Wendy Davis is probably one of the best voices for these issues the Senate has had in a long time. I've also lived in House District 9, Lon Burnham's district. We all know Lon's position on many of these issues. I spoke to him before coming down here. He is very concerned about people running for state house that are going to have to live with answering how they voted the day after the primary. This body needs to not make it more difficult. We know where we stand, and we need to get out and voice those stands. But this is not the way to do it.
Someone who wants to speak for? Yes, ma'am.
Well, the debate seems to be how we, wrestle with our beliefs and how, and still run scared, it seems like. Right now what we're doing is we're not talking about us leading as SDEC. We need to be the leaders of this party. We need to start putting out resolutions, put out what our beliefs are. And to say, well, this one candidate or that one candidate might be uncomfortable with that. I understand that. I get that. But at a certain point, we need to lead. And we need to have values. The other party has values. We may not agree with them, but they're very clear about them. And we need to be clear about our values. If this is all about, well, this resolution, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to decide what the purpose of a resolution is if it isn't to state what our values are. And I guess I'm going to just leave it at that.
Point of clarification.
Point of order.
Point of order. What is the process? However we vote on this, what would be the process if we supported this? What happens?
If it passes, then it would be submitted to the Secretary of State's office to be placed on the primary ballot.
And then they'll reword it, or they'll.
No, they will not. Against. Boyd.
It's all the white people.
And by the way, while we're waiting, I want everyone to understand, because of that, this is a statutory matter, and only statutory SDEC will vote on these issues.
I used to be strong for the death penalty because I've known some people, maybe I've sat through some cases, I'm not a lawyer, but my daughter is, and I've sat through some trials and seen some people do some awful things that I really felt like deserved the death penalty, and I really felt like it. But then there's been cases where innocent people have been convicted and given the death penalty and probably even gotten the death penalty that didn't deserve it. So that means that you know, we don't need the death penalty. When I saw the Republicans cheering when Perry was bragging about people getting, you know, that really made me sick, you know. And there's a but the thing of it is this. These things that we're talking about putting on the ballot, these are not resolutions that say how we feel. That's not what these are. We go to conventions and we pass resolutions. That's where the resolution says how we feel about them. When we go to the county convention and the state convention, which I'll be opposed to the death penalty, and I'll be opposed to all three of these things what's his name, Dan's a really fine man. That he's for all of those things. And I think the party ought to be standing for this. That's not what this is. These are issues to put on the ballot, put out there in harm's way for people. Let me tell you something. We've got candidates running. The purpose of this party and the purpose of that primary election is to elect candidates. Elect candidates. That's the purpose of the whole damn party. And we've got some important elections. You know, somebody said we don't have nothing left. The hell we don't. I've got the sheriff candidate. I've got constable candidates. All of you have sheriff candidates and constable candidates. I want to elect this lady my state senator, and I want to I want to re-elect my state representative. The purpose of this damn primary is to elect candidates. The purpose of this party is to elect candidates. The purpose of the convention is to take our positions on these things. Let's take our positions on these important issues at the conventions, and let's don't put these controversial things on our primary ballot that hurts our candidates. It's stupid.
Don't let people speak at the ballot.
Another person speaking for Marvin.
Hi, I'm Marvin, SDC 9. I think the choice is crucial in any environment, whether it's an economic environment or voting. The choice is crucial. All this does is put something on the ballot for voters to choose, just like two candidates running in a primary. A choice we protect under the Constitution, and when I register people to vote, it's a choice. It's not right or wrong. It's a choice to choose, and you should welcome and embrace that choice.
Like all the others who've spoken against the question, I also oppose the death penalty, and I also, think since minority report is, those are all important issues that I intend to support at the convention as well. But I wanted to speak to this from a technical standpoint of strategy and go to the 2010 Republican primary in which sonograms were mentioned. I think it would be a great tool to use in Senate District 10 when you've got about 50% of actually it was 60% was the vote for the sonogram issue on the Republican ballot in 2010. That means 40% voted against it. We could go into Senate District 10 and we could know that we pull up a list of people who voted Republican in the 2010 primary. We have a 4 and 6 or whatever that, pretty good odds that we're going to hit a woman Republican who voted against that sonogram issue. We could go in there with a phone bank and with various strategic, mailings, etc., and drive a wedge using that issue to peel those women away and get them to support Wendy Davis for Senate. And you can see the power. That's what I'm trying to use in 2010 to win an election. If we put this on the ballot and these other issues on the ballot, we're handing the Republicans an equally effective weapon to use against us. So I urge that you vote down
Yeah, stand with Rick Perry.
Is there any further discussion? Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also oppose the death penalty, and I am in favor of the other two issues that Dan's going to bring up, and I voted against all three of these resolutions on the resolution committee. What we have to lose was as Adrian Garcia is the sheriff in Harris County. He's the first countywide Democrat that was elected in a long time. He's up for re-election in 2012. He's also bringing a lot of Hispanic and Latino voters to the polls. Now, when he's asked how he's going to vote on this ballot initiative, no matter how he answers, he's going to lose votes. He's going to drive voters away. And that's not what we are about. We need to have things out there, as Lloyd said, to get our candidates elected. If you want things on the ballot, pick things that 95% of our voters are going to vote for to get them excited. Don't pick things that could lose. What if this loses? What if this loses? What if the others lose? It has set back the opponents of the death penalty an amazing amount, or the proponents of the other things. Do not vote in favor of this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Someone who wants to speak in favor? Anyone else?
I keep hearing, what if, what if, what if. Now, what are we going to stand up and be for what we believe in? There's no statistics that what you're saying is correct. Do you think Latinos like to be sent to prison and then to the death penalty? Because that's what happens to Latinos. So how is that sheriff going to speak to the Latino community when that is still part of our legislation? We really got to stop thinking about it like this, ladies and gentlemen. This is about our party and what we represent. Our chairman today said it so eloquently. We are better than they are. And I'm sorry, I'm starting to think that I am not in a Democratic room. Sorry. I am proud of all of you, but come on. We've got to get a little bit stronger than this. We got to get out there and we got to show them that we are the Democratic Party.
Further discussion? Further discussion? Joe Pierce.
If we could change, if this were a vote against the death penalty that had some teeth, that would actually do something, hell yes, we would all be for it. Every one of us would be for it. But it isn't. It's a referendum. It will change nothing except tee off people that we're trying to get elected.
Further discussion? Further discussion? All right. Are you ready to vote? Okay. All those who are in favor of the adoption of the minority report, please stand and remain standing until we can get you counted. Those who are in favor. Statutory members only. My count is 13.
13 heroes.
Okay, if you have a proxy, hold up 2 hands. With that, I get 14 in favor. Thank you. Those who are opposed to the adoption of the minority report, please stand.
Stand with Rick Perry.
It is apparent that the minority report is on the death penalty is defeated. Thank you.